Recording. Welcome, everyone. It is Sandra Alexei, and it is January 24th, and I'm so excited. I have Tiffany here, and we met through the ethers, and it was just like, it's like a kindred spirit. Okay, that's just the way I feel. Okay, and so I told everybody, I think in the last video, that I had this real mysterious, exotic person I wanted to talk. So I'm going to let Tiffany introduce herself and tell you what she does, where she's from, and oh my goodness, wait till you hear all the gifts she has and what she actually does. Welcome, Tiffany. This is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandra. And yes, through the ethers, definitely an automatic kindred. And what I do, it gets kind of complicated because I'm kind of a Jill of many trades that has all added up to where I am now. And my background is originally I studied humanities and theater. And I've grown up being artistic. I've always done art and theater my whole life. So I taught theater arts to middle school kids.
All right.
Middle school kids for 12 years and absolutely loved it, of course. So fulfilling. But there was always this part of me that knew that that was a part of my journey, that I was going to continue on to do other things. And I kept kind of ignoring it because I just loved my career, loved my life, loved my job, kept pushing a spiritual awakening aside. And I was always an empath. But then all of a sudden it's like the universe was like, no, you've got all of these skills. You've done all these things. It's time for you to wake up. Wow. And I was in a yoga class learning to be a yoga instructor because I teach yoga with my theater kids. And I had a Kundalini awakening. It was spontaneous. Wow. It was all of a sudden, it was like I went from awake at like a maybe 60% of awareness to like 120. And all of these abilities that I'd had as a child that I'd shut down to fit into school, like seeing spirit, seeing colors, clairsentience, which is like being an empath times, 100. All of that kind of blew open on me. And I, went to work and I was like, I can do this. I was unshielded. I was ungrounded. I knew nothing about any of it. And I ended up at the end of that day, I was just like, I need help. And I was guided to this spiritual store, and I lived in San Antonio, in Texas at the time. And I walk in, and synchronicity, divine hand, I walk in and I'm just like, what? I'm going to look for books. I'm going to look for whatever it is that I'm going to be guided to do. I needed help. And I walk in, and the Reiki master and one of the teachers was standing there at the counter. And as soon as I walk in, she stops, she looks at me, and I said, I just need help. And she was like, oh, honey. She was like, you are so shiny and you are so open. She was like, we need to talk, honey. And she like ushers me aside, and she became my mentor. Really? And I studied Reiki. I studied art therapy under her. I studied palm reading, auras, card reading. And I had done card reading since about 16. I'd always been interested. I always had that metaphysical interest. Right. Always. And she just really put me on my path. And along this timeline, I developed lupus. And it was like my body was forcing me to change my life too. Wow. So it was a soul and physical life change. Right. And propel forward, I had been working on a master's in counseling because counseling psychology. Originally, I wanted to be a school counselor. Right. That morphed into a spiritual counselor and life coaching, Reiki master teacher, healer. And it put me on a totally different trajectory than what I had planned for my life. But that's where I just had to say, universe, you know what I need to be doing. Just take me and I will follow.
Oh my God, you're the first person that can actually explain what the Kundalini is like, because it can be very powerful and it can be very dangerous.
It was so dangerous. I had an existential crisis.
Yes.
It was like, there's a before me, who I was in like 3D world. And then I became somebody different.
Right.
Still me, but totally different. And my connection to, and this happens with Kundalini, and I help coach those that have had Kundalini awakenings like this, because I know what it's like to be alone in the beginning and how scary it is, because shadow work comes up, inner child stuff comes up.
Yes.
And it's like the universe is like, okay, you've got these traumas and these things have happened to you. And in order for you to be a clear channel, in order for you to really continue on this path, it's like it gets forced up and you have to look at it. You have to heal it and you have to release it. And it gets stuck sometimes. And that's where, and when it gets stuck, a lot of people try to shut it down, or they get scared, or that energy.
Well, I think they're also ashamed and embarrassed.
Oh, and it's raw. It is raw.
Yeah.
And the Kundalini is that, I call it the Shakti energy.
What was her name? Shakti Gawain.
It's very Shakti. It's very, and it's very earth-based. So it's connecting us. It's opening up like trying to open up a 12-star chakra system eventually is what it's trying to do. So we're going from like a 7 chakra system. It opens all those up all at once. And then as the Kundalini energy, which weaves up, and whenever I do healings to my higher self. And as a psychic medium, I can see their energy body. And the Kundalini is beautiful. And it's like the Caduceus.
Right.
And the ancients were so right about how our energy system is, how this energy comes up and it connects to our chakras. And as it weaves up through them, it's awakening them more.
Yeah. It's kind of like opening them too, because they're like a lotus type of thing.
They bloom, and they're like vortexes that open from the front and the back, the top and the bottom.
Right.
And the Kundalini just rushes through and it weaves up, and it's like all of our lights get turned on.
Right.
Like that.
And that's what you can see. You can see.
I can see that.
Lights and everything.
And I teach others to see it. Those that have clairvoyance. I do mentorship in the group that I created, Modern Mystic. And we have a big mentor group, and we assess different people who have woken up, who have different experiences, what kind of clair abilities they have. And a clair ability is that it's called clear. So clear seeing would be clairvoyance. Clairaudience is clear hearing. Clairsentience is clear feeling. Claircognizance is that clear knowing.
That's mine.
And that's, yes, you have that divine knowing that's coming from your higher self, which is your soul self.
Yeah. And I never knew until a few years ago when somebody said to me, like, how do you know that? And I never thought about it. I never thought. It was just—
You just knew what you knew.
It was just a part of it. And I go, I just know. Okay. And that was it. And then I went one time to a fair, and I was walking around checking everybody out, hey, all the spiritual people. And this woman went, oh my God, her name was Angel. She went, oh my God, get over here. You could read me. And she said, you're claircognizant. She said, and I went, oh, okay. Like just, okay. So that's perfect. And so I want to make sure that everybody has the hashtags. Everybody can get a hold of Tiffany because she does online. That's where I seen you. And
Yes.
she's in Texas. You're in Texas right now.
I'm in Texas. Yes, I am. I'm a Texas girl.
Well, I'm an Alberta girl. And in Canada, we say Alberta is very similar to the energies of Texas.
It's the Canadian Texas, is what I understand. Y'all have a rodeo and cattle drive.
Right. I used to be a barrel racer and I actually rode steers one time.
Oh my gosh, my family are all rodeo queens. I grew up riding horses my whole life.
Oh yeah, I was a rodeo queen for the Gymkhana Club. And it was funny because when I got married and had kids, I sold my saddle, sold my horse. So very few people even know about that. That was just I do that with my life. It's just like, okay, it's now I'm moving into a next and a next.
That's
fabulous, the gifts you have. But to share this Kundalini, everybody figures, oh, I'm going to sit in meditation, I'm going to get spiritual, and I'm going to go whatever. And I know for me, it was like my physicality. I mean, I was off for a year of work one time. It
knocks you down.
Right. And the shadow work, okay, because I've been working with the gene keys and with the astrology and stuff. And the bottom line is, the whole thing is we have to look at the shadow. And now, collectively, that's Pluto that's been in Capricorn.
All raising.
It's the collective shadow is being totally shown from 2007 until 2023. And we're not getting away with it. And so we can point our fingers at the corruption, the deceit, the lies, the delusion, everything. But
you got to look at it.
But we can look at it there, but it also has us look in the mirror and we face different things that we do. So I bet you're probably really busy right now.
Oh, oh my gosh. And I like to call it the microcosm of the macrocosm. So it's our own inner universe, inner experiences that are also reflected and affected by the larger collective. And so as all of these things like, with our astrology, with the universe, with how the planets are aligning, with our time slots, like,
right.
I never really realized, like what you just said, like 2007, that's a pivotal time for so many of us. Yeah. And then like for me, 2010, 2012 is when finally I couldn't ignore the rest of my awakening.
Right. And then 2015, something would have happened in about August, September. And then it took you to about 2017.
Yes, it did.
Window. And then there was a 5-year window from 2015 to 2020.
Of healing. That was for me. I ended up going through a divorce. My whole life shifted. I ended up like a gypsy. I was in a camper trailer for a little bit, the back of my parents' property. Oh, wow. And it was like, I was forced to look at everything. And it was like, I had to go through, and I did find a great counselor. I love her. She's 78 years old. She's very spiritual and she does not hold anything back with me. And she was like, we have to do shadow work, love. She was like, and we've got to figure out what your soul purpose is and get you back on track. And she had to help me a lot because I did have my near-death experience like you. Mm-hmm. Mine was not hypnosis. Mine was like existential crisis about, 2015 is what you just called it. And it was about September, October for me. That's your claircognizance. I died and like I was gone. And I had my experience on the other side, which is a whole other topic. And they commanded me.
We have to do that one time.
We got to talk about the other side.
We will, because you have yours, I have mine, and we can share it.
And they're similar from what you had said earlier.
Right.
And I was commanded to go back to my roots. And I did, when I came back into my body, I did not want to go back to my roots. I was like, no, 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 no. But I had to, because that was part of my healing. And it's also healing family karmic cycles, transmuting them. And that's when I really started. And I was told light worker, and I had never really heard that. Like, I knew the term, but I'd never really applied it to myself, you know?
Right.
And I delved into it to understand it more. And it's mainly about us shining our light inward and then outward.
Right. Right. And assisting others. And so when you said mine wasn't about hypnosis, I was off work for a year and told I'd be in after my dear death. My whole body shut down. And I was told I'd be in a wheelchair in 5 years. Well, here I sit at 73.
Oh my gosh. So yours was okay. So tell me, with your near death, was it like a regression thing, or was it like a bam, you just were on the other side?
I was just that, well, I got sick and I was in the Dominican and I went to the hospital. When I woke up, I had IV in me and blood going up, and I was in a bed there. My husband had taken me. I was married at the time, and it was it was New Year's Eve. And it was really interesting, because what I do remember is in the middle of the night, these doctors came and they were black skinned and they had white tuxes. So it was a real contrast, and they wanted to operate. And he said no. And that's the last thing I remember. Then I remember.
And then you shift over.
Then I went over, and then I came back. And then after that, there was just peace. We came back to Canada. But then I got really sick, because that's when my body shut down. And we'll talk about that one time about yours and mine, because I think share that with people, is that because everybody thinks, oh, I want to awaken, it's going to be hot. I'm going on a weekend thing, and I'm going to go, and I'm going, wow, that's interesting. That's all I have to say.
That's me too, because I'm just like, well, that's a different experience than what I have.
Right. And so now you have all these gifts. You have a group that you work with. Okay. You have your almost like, I don't want to call it tribe, because Aquarian is about networking. It's
all about networking.
But also with the Aquarian, what I love, because it's the Aquarian energy, is that we now become whole. So we're not vampires, and we are not vampires, and we're not hosts. And that's why I got to show the book. I forgot. This Game Changer. It's the new model of Aquarian relationships. I started it about 9 years ago, because I do so many sessions. Like, I'm an astrologer and numerology. I do a lot of things, but people's relationships were breaking down. And our first relationship is with ourselves. Okay.
Always.
And that's it. And so the Aquarian relationship right now is saying we need to be really self-responsible, self-sufficient, and we need to find our purpose. That's why the work that we do, people will be coming, because that's where they need to be.
They've got to come back.
Right. Here, exactly. And I say on my website, I have an 8. So I say, as above, so below. It's not about anybody else. It's not about a political party, a doctor, not about anything. It's about connecting with the source, with the divine, whatever you call it. That to me is it. And that's where we're at right now. And that's what's so beautiful. As tough as the times have been, everything that happened is in divine.
It is. And it, and like going through like Dark Night of the Soul stuff. It gets the nitty gritty, because we have to deal with our shadow aspect so much. And we have to deal with some of the ugliest parts of us looking right back at us. And we have to see the injury in that, what caused that trauma, what brought upon that shadow self. Why is that ego rearing up like it is? And not wrestling it, because some people will say, oh yeah, shut down the ego. No, we all have got to have some ego. I mean, we can't survive in this like without ego, but it's about healing the ego, integrating the ego with it's the yin and the yang, our light side and then our dark side, and that alchemy, that harmony between the two.
Yes. So in astrology, it's like, this is my south node. This is my shadow side. And in order to get to the light, I need to go to my north node. And so what people say is, I'm going to throw it away and I'm just going to jump there, or I'm not going there because I'm comfortable. And it's integrating it. And that's what Carl Jung said. We'll never get to the light till we go through the shadow.
It's the shadow. And I study Jungian psychology. Absolutely. I'm done with my master's in counseling psychology. I only have to finish my hours for my LPC to be a licensed professional counselor. And it's just, a few extra classes and some hours. But I ended up choosing to study 2 semesters worth of Jungian psychology because it deals so much with that deep healing aspect. And it's so worldly, and it's he was very before his time.
He actually did astrology.
I know.
Yeah, and he actually said that sometimes you can be in therapy for years. I know people that are in therapy for years and weeks and months, and it's like, wow, where's the change type of thing, hey? And he said that he could work his astrology. I can't even remember the book because I have a minor in psychology when I got my.
I knew it.
I love it. Okay. And so that's what he said was, if he can get into a chart and really dissect it. Okay. And I've had different teachers and they have different ways, and then you come up with your own way. And if you can look at it, it's like, wow. And right now it's to do a lot with working with the shadow. That's how we're moving from, everybody saying from the 3rd to the 5th to the 7th to whatever.
Yes.
Some people are on the 7th already, or the 5th and the 7th or whatever, but it's taking the time to do it. And you can't do it on a weekend workshop. I don't know of it, but maybe somebody.
If someone can, more power to them, because
that's what
they are and that would be, go them, because in most of our experiences, it's a long haul and it's a continual process. And I still, and it's ongoing. So even when we integrate it, we do the work, something will trigger something within us that still needs to be healed.
Right.
And then, here we go again.
But bottom line is, right now we're doing ancestral healing.
Yes.
Past life healing.
Oh my gosh. Past life stuff has been coming up for so many of the people I work with.
Oh my God. And I'm going to tell you right now, I did a couple of videos on it, okay, and did a lot of work with that, and had done that years ago with a lady from the States called Deludi. That was my first experience. But right now, the most interesting thing is we're being asked to clear up, like from the past life and that type of thing. But at the same time, even when we are in a relationship, all of a sudden somebody might come into our lives that one of the other people had been in a life with before.
Oh, it's happening so often.
Exactly.
And synchronicities are just, and it's a lot of it is soulmate, or so like, past life connections.
Or a contract that you had with the past life.
I didn't want to say contract. You read my mind. I was trying to say, I was like, how do I word this without saying contract? But yes, we do have contracts, and we've had soul contracts. And that's where the karmic ones that come up, like your classic empath with the narcissist, which Lord have mercy, I've been there. That one is like a catalyst contract that's coming up in the collective. So many of us are experiencing it. We've got to just deal with it, heal it, experience it, and release it.
Oh my God. I have a girlfriend that is just going through one right now, and I can hardly wait until she sees this, because she's got to get a hold of you, because there's.
I will totally.
Oh yeah, because there's. I mean, I've done some work with her, I've sent her here and whatever, but she's not she's just not getting it. And I know that you can reach her, and I want her to do her healing and have that wholeness again. She deserves.
And it's about that, our holistic well-being. So it's that the mind, body, soul, and spirit. So it's about, you know, because we are multi-dimensional beings, you know, and we're not just this physical vessel. This is just our, you know, this is our body, which is a very beautiful aspect, but we are so much more than that. And then
They say it's my costume. It's my temple, is my costume.
oh, I love that term. Say it again. What is it?
It's my temple, it's my costume. And so it's really neat. Like that's what people would say. Because I used to wear turbans and all kinds of things. Of course, that's I know.
I love it.
Is we decorate. Okay, we decorate ourselves. Okay. And so, and some people go like, why do you have to wear all that stuff? It's because it makes me feel good.
Exactly. I choose to color my hair pink and purple because those are some of my aura colors. And so I was wanting to bring about some more of my aura colors, and or like our lipstick or our makeup or our colors that we put together. It makes us feel good. It resonates. It's not about somebody else. It's about us.
This is my lipstick. I have a signature lipstick.
Is it MAC or what is that?
It is. It's MAC, and it's
Mine's
called
MAC.
Candy Yum Yum. I love it. I buy 6 at a time. One of my students told me, because I was also a spa consultant, so I worked in spas, and some of my staff would say, like, why do you have to wear that? It was a different lipstick. And we had a makeup artist come in from Toronto, and he goes, that's her signature color. Leave her alone.
Last night on my live, with one of my amazing mentees, she's a soul sister, Susan, the one I do some readings with. We had some hecklers come on from a group, and they bombed our live.
What?
And they were saying the most horrible things, that I was obese, that I weighed 300 pounds, why an obese woman shouldn't wear red lipstick during our live. And we had all of our group members, you know, our followers in there that were booting them out. And after I got done, I had to let myself cry just for a moment.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I do deal with weight issues. I'm on steroids for my lupus, and so it makes me gain weight. But the red lipstick is my signature. And by gosh, I don't care what somebody says, I'm going to put my red on during the day. And today I wore my brightest red, which is Lady Danger from MAC.
I know, I love the MAC. And this is Candy Yum Yum. And I buy them 6 at a time because and then at Christmas time, they have a sale. But getting back to that, people are mean. Some mean to me the other day in a Safeway at a grocery store, because I didn't realize I was supposed to have and so she looked at me, and the words are, you old effing evil, whatever. And I just went, and the ladies heard her, the one at Safeway, but my energy, I mean, you can understand how strong my energy is.
Yes.
I just went, you young, da, 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 da. And you could just see her start to shrink. She started shrinking.
See, I told this lady to go sit in the corner. I said, that is shame on you. Go sit in a corner.
Right. Well, I couldn't tell her to sit in the corner. I just went like this because they say I have a sword, and I just went. So the nice lady from Safeway came up and she goes, oh my goodness, I'm so sad that she said that to you. I went, you don't have to feel sorry for me. She's got a little bit of karma she's going to deal with.
That's what I said. I said, it's a projection of that person's issues.
Right. It had nothing to do. But so that's another thing, if people would realize, is we work karma every day. I mean, yeah. I go on talking, sharing with you. I want everybody to know about you. I want you to tell them what things that you do now, and we're going to put them on the link, and then they can get a hold of you.
Oh, I would love that.
I know the person that is, I'm not going to say her name because she will intuitively know that she has to get a hold of Tiffany, because you just came out of a very narcissistic relationship.
Oh,
Yes, very.
I can help.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. There was nobody not at the depth that she went through, and she's been searching, and that's good. So now, first of all, Tiffany is in Mexico, and you are a kindred spirit. I know I have been somewhere with you in another life.
Oh, I agree. And I'll have to explore it further, but definitely soul family. Like,
Yeah.
we have incarnated, and been a part of each other's lives at different times.
Oh, yeah. And there's a reason it had to be now. It couldn't be 6 months ago. It had to be now.
Yes.
Particular time in 2021, because it is the 5 energy. So there is change. So I have to say, if you are ready, you're going to check and you contact Tiffany. So Tiffany is it for anybody that she's in Texas, and she does all kinds of different things. Like, I know
Yes.
read auras, and you do counseling work, and you're a Reiki.
Oh, yes. And I certify people. I'm part of the International Association of Reiki Practitioners. And so I certify people from board certification in Usui Ryoho Reiki, Usui Shiki, Kundalini Reiki, angelic. There's like a whole list of them that, because during my healing of myself, learning Reiki, absorbing this information, I just went on like a walkabout where I was just absorbing, doing all of these, workshops, had my mentor. And it was all of that process that has led into like us going into the Aquarian age, where we have to step up. It's time for us to step up. And we were preparing without even realizing it.
Like, I just get goosebumps. I'm so excited about this Aquarian, of course, because I'm a Capricorn. So I've had Pluto sitting on me since 2007. Okay. And
right there.
Oh, yeah. And it's like, oh my God, in my 6th house. And it's like, but I have the patience, and I go, what am I learning along the way? What am I learning? And I go into what I call my cave.
Yes.
I go into a cave. I have to do my healing. I have to do my processing. And there's and people kind of think I'm different, but I don't care. And all I know is I want to share with everybody, and I'm sure you're going to say the same thing. It's like, find out who you are. That's why Game Changer. It's a self-discovery. It's all interactive exercises, the whole first chapter.
Beautiful. I must get a copy.
Yeah. Know oneself. That's it. Okay. And once you know yourself, you're going to find your purpose. And knowing yourself is doing this and doing the work that you do, going and seeing Tiffany, doing Zoom with her, having readings with me. That's how we get to the soul work. For me, it's like a butterfly. Okay, so my website is mypersonalmuse.com, and it's below. And then, of course, there's the YouTube. But I always think that we're like a caterpillar. And
yes, we are.
On my website, I have a little table, and there's a caterpillar sitting here with a glass of wine and a big butterfly. And the little caterpillar goes, am I supposed to be you?
Oh, I love it.
And it's about freeing our souls.
Yes, 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 yes.
Freeing the soul to be who we are, to find our gift, and to share our gift. Okay.
We're not supposed to hide it or hoard it. And we can't worry about the people that might, be difficult along the way. That just means that we are doing something right. We need to keep doing our work. We need to keep shining.
You got, and I think I was very lucky to have the parents I had, because I was kind of a different child. We'll put it that way.
Okay. I was too.
And so going through high school, because I had a photographic memory, that's another thing I lost, because I got sleeping sickness, encephalitis from my horse. Okay. But I was meant to. Okay. But anyway, so I would say to my teachers, like, I am bored. I'm 3 weeks ahead, 2 or 3 weeks ahead. and I got 3 jobs. I lived in a really small town, so I'm going to go to work. So they would just let me go to work. And then I was kind of a free spirit. I kind of did what I wanted and whatever. And so, of course, in a small community, they would say to my dad, did you know Sandra was dancing on the table last night? Or, you know what?
I love it.
You know what he'd say? He'd say, the girl could do anything. He never, ever, ever lied for me, said that that was something wrong. And that's one thing I remember that, and I guess I had to fight it all my life. And then there came a time when there was no more fighting it. I didn't care anymore. I became very detached, okay? And very just, okay, I'm detached. I have my process of discernment. If you want to be in my life, if we want to play together, we can play together. If we don't want to, that's all right. And so you and I are playing together.
I love that term. See, I always think of it as like a dance, like we're dancing together, but I like the play.
We're playing, we're dancing. And I say in a relationship, a relationship is like a dance. Sometimes we lead, sometimes we follow. It's all about finding that kind of balance. So I want to thank you so much. And if there's anything you want to finish off with, Tiffany, go ahead. And I just want to thank everybody. And I want to say to them, number one, please comment. And if you comment, I do a free mini reading once a month. So I'll draw, and everybody's got a comment on you. And then what I want to do is I would like you to like and share, and really would love it if you would subscribe to the channel. Okay.
I love it.
And we're going to get together again. Okay.
Oh, we have so many different topics we can totally talk about. And this was so effortless. I mean, it flowed so beautifully, and your energy is just always amazing. You are such a gift to this world and what you bring to it. So shiny.
Well, thank you. You're very shiny. I mean, you can just see, I don't see auras. I don't see them. I guess I feel them.
You feel them with your clairsentience. Yes.
Right.
And your claircognizance, your knowing.
Right. And it's really funny because I've worked for businessmen, hey, and some pretty high powered businessmen, hey, because I have a Scorpio South Node. Okay.
Okay.
And so we would be in a business meeting. And so then the people would come back from another country, say in a month or two, and they would say, well, you know this. And I'd go, no, that isn't what you said. And they'd go, what? And I go, no. I said, this is what you told me, and this is what you said before. And so that's what we're looking at right now, because I could see through them. And there was something that said to me, keep it somewhere. It was stayed somewhere. And I like my day book. So some people, Matthew, hopefully Matthew watched this, and he said in a testimonial, buyer beware, because he said, she's got to say, I just got to share what I can see and what I know. It's not being mean. It's just, if they're going to go, if people really want to do the work, okay, they got to do the work. And in order to do the work, it's to identify what they need. That's why you would be just as doing shadow work. Oh my God, for somebody to be able to say to them, you have to identify it. Whatever you do, you would have your own process. I just know, and that right now is some of the deepest work. Cover it all up. It's super. It's like I'm going to put some beautiful makeup on. I'm going to cover all the pimples and everything. That's not what it's meant to. It's like being authentic, exposing, working with the soul, and healing it. It just wants to be whole. And everybody has such a beautiful, I say it's lighting candles when I talk, because I taught for 20 years too, hey. And so some of the parents would say, because my kids won all the competitions, like makeup, hair, whatever.
Love it.
But they did it. I would say it wasn't me.
That was me in theater. My kids rock. My kids are always amazing.
Right. And I would say, I just set the stage for them. Okay.
Yes. You planted the seed or you lit the candle.
That's exactly what I used to say. I just light their candle. That's it. And the rest. And I go, when they leave me, okay, when they're finished here, I said, I teach them to bat. Okay. Like I always have to go back to a practical thing, but I go, when they get on the plate, they have to do it. And I'm so proud of the 20 years back and forth. I taught a bit and then I'd come out. And I actually just got an email from a gal yesterday. She's a brilliant little makeup artist.
Oh,
Yeah, and so we're very blessed. I want to say I'm so blessed to have you come into my life. It was time though. I couldn't have done this like a year ago. I wasn't ready. Okay.
you're stepping into being a muse. That's what you do.
Yes. And so as a muse, I was tired for a while because I had to go on a walkabout. So I had to go and do my healing and that type of thing. And now it's like I'm out again. And then I've met you. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And they can find me easy enough. I'm on Facebook, Tiffany Klepper. I go by my name. I have a website, tiffanyKlepper.com. And that's where I have life coaching and Reiki listed there. Or they can find me on my business page, Modern Mystic. I was told years ago that I'm a mystic, and I didn't really know what that meant at the time, but I agree with it now.
But you know, it's funny because the man that's gone to the other side, when I met, and he was a mystic, and he told me years ago that I was a mystic. And what I wanted to get from my website was mystical muse, but it was taken. So I just took my personal muse, but mystic. And that's really what it is.
It really is.
It really is. So thank everybody for watching, and we'll be back, and I'll have everything that how you can get a hold of Tiffany in the hashtags. And now
I'm so excited. Much love.